1, 0.
Welcome to Medtech Mzansi, the podcast powering South African medical device innovation, brought to you by MDMSA.
So welcome back to another episode of Medtech Mzansi, where we spotlight innovators, disruptors, and champions of South Africa's medical technology sector. Today, we're joined by a true pioneer in local manufacturing, Mr. Sagren Naidoo, the driving force behind New Horizon Metals. With over 25 years of experience, Sagren has built a reputation for excellence in crafting high-quality medical furniture and industrial solutions that serve both public and private healthcare sectors. His commitment to local innovation, durable design, and community upliftment has positioned New Horizon Metals as a key player in strengthening South Africa's healthcare infrastructure. Sagren's work is not just about manufacturing. It's about impact, resilience, and building a future where South Africa's made products lead the way. Sagren, it's a pleasure to have you on the show. Let's dive into your journey, your vision, and how New Horizon Metals is helping drive local manufacturing forward. So to get us started, what inspired you to focus on medical furniture manufacturing in South Africa?
Well, thank you so much, Ashvir, for the wonderful introduction. And it's a pleasure being on your show. To what got me started, it's a journey of over 25 years, like you've just said. And I think it started just after before 2000, actually, when I used to, I studied engineering, but most of in my early 20s, I was working in an engineering facility, and that particular business somehow failed, and I was left unemployed, and that's a scary thing. So I think one of the things is when you're unemployed, when your back's against the wall, you kind of find your way. And one of the things I knew how to do best was to design and engineer products. So one of the things I did see as a lucrative business to get into was hospital furniture. And I think that's when my journey really kicked off, creating hospital furniture and equipment. Yeah.
That's incredible. Thank you so much. How does New Horizon Metal approach innovation in a sector that demands both functionality and durability?
Well, functionality is key, I think, and also innovation and durability, having these products out there. So for me, my motto is made in Africa for Africa. And one of the things we really need is durable, functional products with lots of innovation. And innovation is twofold. It's not just cutting edge technology like we see avant-garde products, but more so creative thinking behind it. And one of the things, I've learned from my past and understanding the dynamics behind this was understanding the needs of the end user and the healthcare sector and what it needs, and understanding the environments where these products are being used. And that's what helps me and helped us create and innovate with durability and functional products. I think more so in the rural sector and in the rural hospitals where our products are widely used. You've got to understand the dynamics behind that as well. The gaps they have, the infrastructure, also budgets, constraints. Yes, and that really helps us create. But more so, we look at how we can, and I think that's one of the things we love, and our passion behind this is how do we create more durable and functional products? What can we do to simplify, products in the industry? How do we reduce costs? That's one of the most important things right now. And then how do we create employment as a whole? Behind manufacturing, I think the most important thing for SA right now is creating employment. And that's one of the key things that we always look at when we look at innovation and then designing. Yeah,
100%. So it has a chain effect, and a lot of families benefit from local manufacturing.
Yes, I think that's key. Local manufacturing. Yes.
So, can you share a recent product development that you're particularly proud of?
Well, are you saying that it just already my heart skips a beat? A few years ago, I think just after COVID, there was lots of issues around, and I think around the same time we had huge challenges with load shedding, and one of the sectors, especially on we were looking at developing a gynae examination table. And what I did was we created a hydraulic pneumatic examination table that didn't use electricity but had all the functions and the durability of one of those electronic modular systems that would come from Europe or the US. And I'm particularly proud of that is because I searched the internet, I searched high and low to see what these things were made of. How could we create something like this? And there was nothing on it. And so we put our thoughts together, and we've come up with an amazing product that really sold exceptionally well down in the Eastern Cape. Yes, it performs just like a high-tech examination table with all the features, and but totally mechanical, hydraulic cylinders and pneumatic gaskets, and it was amazing. Yes, and it met all the criteria for this particular product. So with patient safety and all of that. Yeah, so that was exciting for me.
That's incredible. I can see just with the passion in your voice, you're really a true innovator in our industry. Going forward, and on the topic of local manufacturing and economic impact, what would you say are the biggest advantages and challenges of manufacturing locally in South Africa?
I think, let's start with the positives first. Let's not, because there's so many negatives behind. But I think for me, I think especially in Durban, and I think lots of other provinces, but we have reasonable industrial bases. That's key. I think as a local manufacturer, especially for my environment with the steel industry, we need industrial zones and industrial bases that can support us, like the steel industry and textile industry, and especially if you want a consistent and a constant supply of raw materials. So I think that is key, especially even with KZN. I think we have quite a broad industrial base, but quite established as well, which helps support us. Also, there's diversity in manufacturing, especially in my industry, and when it comes to the steel industry, we have really good, strong, consistent supply because we have facilities like mills in our country. So that is key. Also, you need more industrial zones that really help us. So I think those are the key factors. And as well as one of the things that I found that really made a little difference in us was the fact that we have TEI, KZN, and the DTIC that really come on board to support us as local manufacturers, as well as the CSIR. They played a pivotal role, when it comes to support that guided us and helped us through creating. So that was the fair thing, as well as there is demand for our product locally. As much as we say there's challenges in the industry, but there's a fair amount of interest from government and private sector that helps us daily in our manufacturing. And also one of the thing that's so motivating for me is that there's always the way we position in South Africa as a whole there's opportunity for sub-Saharan Africa and the SADC region and as a whole, to export. So that I think is the key motivating and driving factor for us.
Yeah, 100%, especially with the Africa Free Trade Agreement that's coming into place.
Yes, that's something to really, really look forward to, and on that same note, when you look at the disadvantages, there's quite a bit, but again, the sector since COVID now, we're competing with the rest of the world. Since COVID, imports have come through, and South Africa has been seen as a dumping ground. And it's made it quite difficult, when you have to compete against China and India and all these other highly industrialized countries. And so one of the biggest challenges was competing and being competitive against imports. Also as a manufacturing industry, when you have huge industrial equipment like we have, electricity and the tariffs and electricity pricing being the way it is now, that also affects business as a whole. There comes a disadvantage when you look at the rest of the other leading countries. Also, what I found that's challenging is, when it comes to regulatory authorities and the stuff that we have to comply with. It's just ongoing and it's becoming very, very expensive. As much as, yes, we need those regulations, I think the costs of those things, for small business, it's becomes a huge burden to bear, and cost driver when it comes to local manufacturing. Also, but also,
so one of the challenges that I also picked up was that to be able to get CE MDR or to get a US FDA, the cost has become so exorbitant for local manufacturers that a lot of them actually shy away, and it closes a lot of market for local South African manufacturers.
Yes, I agree with that, because we looked into all of those, and CE and FDA seems to be such a far-fetched idea for us right now as South Africans, and if you look at what when it comes to Europe and the US and some of the other leading nations, the first thing they ask, as much as they love your product, the first thing is, are you CE approved? I met with this Italian company some time ago, and they've seen some of our work, and they were super excited and astonished that these things were coming out of South Africa. And one of the first things they asked was, do you have CE or do you have FDA approval? And I think that
seems to be one of the first questions that international buyers seem to be asking.
Yeah, it does. But look, with all of this, we shouldn't be despondent. We still got to look and be hopeful that we can navigate through these. Yeah.
How would you say that New Horizon Metals has contributed to job creation and skill development in the region?
Look, one of the things I found was the fact that you are manufacturing locally, you become a skills incubator. That's one of the first things I've realized. And I think, as long as you're manufacturing locally, there's opportunity for learnerships and apprenticeships, like when I first started off, because there was local industries and engineering facilities, I was able to get in and get apprenticeship and have these learnerships. Also, one of the biggest things that I found was, in manufacturing locally, not just in engineering, but there's lots of skill development and skill transfer. I think it's key for South Africa as a whole, for the young engineers and entrepreneurs. It's coming up now. Skills transfer is so important. But even for the youth of this country, trying to get into some sort of trade, some sort of artisanal work is so important, because then you can contribute to the local economy and contribute to local starting up and to becoming an entrepreneur, in the local space. So I think that's key. Also, the indirect job creation that we've created in the industry since we've started off, because there's lots of companies that work alongside us from steels, and the supply chain is huge, especially.
So it has a ripple effect.
Yes, certainly, and that's what makes and gives us, makes it so positive in that sense, that there is job creation from what we're doing. Yeah.
Oh, lovely. So, what role do you think local manufacturers need to play in order to strengthen South Africa's healthcare infrastructure?
I think it's not just economical growth that we're looking at. I think it's about time we find ourselves becoming resilient in this space, becoming self-sustaining as a healthcare system. Recently, when America was on that rampage with all this, cutting funding to Africa, we found ourselves with a begging bowl. And we have this begging bowl mentality that we need to depend on other nations and depend on other industries to assist and support us. And I think so, it's not just about economical, it's about becoming resilient in the space by building our industries and reducing our dependency on other countries. We've also found that, South Africa has become a dumping ground to all these industrialized nations, and that's something that we need to stop. And by manufacturing locally, we then change this whole system of where the rest of the world just treats us as something that we can just come and dump their stuff in, and we just have to accept. Because again, we're a unique continent, we are unique people, and what works in Africa doesn't work for the rest of the world. So I think also is becoming a problem. But more so, by manufacturing locally, we reduce costs across the board. So I think, government spend will be different by supporting local business, as well as, private. And then there's the better turnaround times. You're getting it manufactured locally between 2 to 3 to 4 weeks, as opposed to waiting 8 to 12 weeks from an imported product, and also locally manufactured products are designed for local conditions. That's something that I've seen in the last 25 years. I had an incident some years ago where I delivered a mortuary trolley to a rural hospital down in the Eastern Cape. And I got a call from the doctor himself, and he says, this product looks so good, but it's not going to work in our facility. And I said, what do you mean? But it's made with it conforms to all the standards, and it's compliant in every sense of the word. And he says, the only way you can understand is by coming down and understanding the conditions and the environment we are in. And I drove down. It took me sort of a 4-hour drive to this hospital. And when I got there, I was blown away, Ashvir, where the hospital was in an area, and then the mortuary was another, say, 150 to 200 meters away from the hospital. And they had to move these or transport these bodies across unpaved gravel terrain with rocks and boulders, and those fancy pretty wheels that we use in our private and academic hospitals in all these nice corridors were not even lasting a week. And again, that's where innovation, not just cutting edge innovation, but my creativity came in, where we had to use mountain bike tires. Now imagine a mortuary trolley or stretcher with mountain bike tires. And I think, that was when the penny dropped for me. It wasn't just about just supplying a product, but the conditions it's used in. And eventually that became a big hit, and there were many more sold like that. But again, it was innovation, but more so, again, it was locally manufactured with the conditions in mind. And I don't think that will ever happen, or a product coming out of Europe or anywhere else. Also, and a last and final note on that is, skills development and industrial growth. It's key for local manufacturing.
For me to touch on that, I would just say that continuing to mass import products into our country is only going to stifle innovation.
Yeah.
And we need more individuals like yourself, sir, to essentially help grow our economy, and not just grow it financially, but make it more resilient, specifically in our healthcare sector, which is a very important sector to all countries. So moving on to supply chain and sustainability, especially within an industry where raw materials are something that is quite important in your industry. So how do you manage supply chain resilience, especially with global disruptions and also fluctuations in prices, like for instance within the steel price here in South Africa?
Oh, that's a really, really good question. And I think with 25 years or more of experience, it's helped us navigate. But again, one of the key things here is local diversity is key. And one of the things I mentioned earlier was that KZN and South Africa as a whole has a good, strong industrial base. And again, steel is key for my industry. And then, like you're saying, with global disruption, like with exchange rates and nickel is an additive or something that's used to grade stainless steel. And when nickel prices fluctuate, it just upsets everything alongside with the market. So again, finding and developing close relations locally helps us keep stable in the market. Again, it helps us, we need to reduce our reliance on imports, because that's how we become resilient, and I said that earlier. And one of the things that I found was that when we do have some good periods, that, when you look at trends, again, nickel is one of the prices that fluctuate. When there's some good runs with nickel pricing coming down, then we invest in stock. And that's something that, is very hard to do as small businesses, but I realize these are the key things, to sustain yourself in leaner periods. So investing in stock, it is difficult. And then one of the things that we found was we partnered up with local manufacturing hubs and supplies, manufacturing facilities, as well as we look at key in-house manufacturing. That's most important. They call it lean manufacturing, where we look at all avenues and see how best we become efficient in our own in-house plans and production. And then lastly, being resilient means that you've got to be compliant, or else not being compliant, you just don't get the work. So with all the bureaucracy and everything that comes with it, you got to be compliant with regulatory standards and all the requirements in manufacturing. And that has been one of the ways that we've kept afloat and in challenging times. And I think also we made it in better times. So yeah, that was one of our...
Perfect. So moving forward, are there any sustainable practices which New Horizon Metals has adopted in its manufacturing process to essentially help you save on costs?
Yes, that was like a brainstorm, because again, what do? You got to go and really, really dig deep and find how do you, as an organization or a facility, find ways of keeping it together. Sustainable practices, and one of the things was again, keep lean processes in-house, and how we do. We had to go back to the drawing board in the tough times and realize where we're falling short and what we're doing differently, and make those changes. Another thing was finding energy efficient ways, with unstable electricity, as well as the electricity hikes. We have to find energy efficient ways of working through, and then looking at waste management and how we managed all of that, and then navigating these spaces. But again, it boils down to skills and then efficiency as well. We really, really need to hone in on that to navigate and sustain in difficult times.
So following up on that, have you partnered with any local hospitals, universities, or government bodies to co-develop solutions?
Yes, actually, that was again part of my excitement. It's a few.
I know you gave us an example earlier, but
yes,
there are any other examples?
Yes. So recently, there's the private sector has come up. It's a big private chain that came up with solutions for their own facilities across the country, that they were looking to develop new products that were trending overseas, but they wanted to make it work within their facilities. And there was lots of modular stuff, but more changes that had to be made. And again, it was such an exciting project, because we actually, and we're proud of it, because we came up with really, really efficient solutions. And we had big corporate buy into that and say, hey, you know what, you guys are delivering. So we came up with new innovative products and ideas that met their needs and their solutions. And eventually we rolled out these specialized carts, productomy carts that across the country for all these medical institutes, as well as we partnered with other private entities that are looking at developing modular systems, or modular equipment that's knocked down, that can change. And I remember at the time there was this amazing product that was trending in Europe, but this was developed over a series of maybe 15 years or so, or 20 years or so. And they had come up with a final solution for this. And what I did was I took all 15 years of 20 years of that and all the different modules that they developed, and I put it into one product. Gosh, it was amazing, because it was almost the ultimate product, and because I took all their years and I created one amazing product, and that spoke volumes. And again, it's something that's really selling well in the private sector, and it meets all the criteria, and it's so functional, it looks great. And I think collaboration is so important, sharing ideas, working together with private, and even I think my challenge was with government. Again, the bureaucracy behind it, the red tape is not easy, because again, private is a little bit different, but but also with collaboration, there was an institute in South Africa that came to us looking to see how we can develop an innovative products, especially specialist products for ICU. And again, it's amazing. not really kicked off as yet. We're still in the development stages, but again, it's exciting to see that we can. As well as with the DTIC, they're always looking to support new innovation and new ideas and new programs like this. So I think, overall, it's for us, it's great importance for us to collaborate with both private and government.
Perfect. There's always a good sense that trade and industry, or should I rather say the Department of Trade and Industry, shows good support to our industry.
Yes.
So based on that, do you think that there's better opportunities for collaborations with local manufacturers and especially our public health sector, which is the majority sector of our healthcare?
Yes, I do believe so. I think, now that I think government as a whole is starting to listen and inviting stakeholders and key industry leaders to the table and saying, hey, what are your thoughts on this? What can we do to improve and what can we do to make it better? And also, what's realistic? Sometimes, there's some really, really far-fetched ideas, but again, I think collaboration is key, and I'm very optimistic that in the near future it's just going to be better and brighter, because they are listening, they are looking for input, they are looking for support. Our previous Minister of Trade and Industry, he summed it up as a bring and buy. And he says, it's like we all coming to a bring and buy. And what are you bringing to the table? What are your thoughts? What are your offerings? It's just like, one person just puts everything out there and then everybody benefits. It's now, what are we all bringing to the table? And that's collaboration. That's what working together is all about. And I think, also with the new bills being passed and there's lots of talk of new things happening in the healthcare system, I think, again, collaboration and working with local and industry makes it even more exciting, makes it so much more hopeful. Also, it looks, brighter for South African economy. It looks brighter for young entrepreneurs, inspiring people, inspired people, looking to make that change.
So the Sagren, where do you see New Horizon Metals in the next 5 to 10 years?
Wow, that question could keep me up for another hour, but I think I'll start with that. I think New Horizons, we play a pivotal role in local manufacturing, and I think that's key. And my motto is made in Africa for Africa. And I'm really, really passionate about innovating and creating sustainable and functional products. And I think, and I know in the next 5 years, we're going to be stronger and larger in more sub-Saharan African regions. That's where my passion is. That's where my heart is. Also, again, there's with all of this innovation and new stuff that's happening and new development, there's always room for us to grow and expand our business, and I think that's key. And there's lots of opportunity, and I'm so excited about that for South Africa as a whole and Africa. So, there's a lot more that we can offer in this space, but just not, when we say durable and functional, but I think, we're going to take it a step further and introduce thoughtful technology into all of this. A little scenario. I was working on a project, and there were two other entities that were international companies that came in, and we all were looking to supply a product. And I was, shortlisted, and eventually I got the business to supply this product because as much as it met all the criteria and the technology was there, but it wasn't so so, it wasn't so large, or it wasn't as complex. And, I met all the criteria, but simple enough. And it really, really hit home with the end users, and we gained so much of favor around that. So yeah, I see a lot happening for us in this health space, and I'm really looking forward to it.
That's incredible. I'm looking forward to all your future innovations to come. What advice would you give emerging manufacturers looking to enter the medical device space or equipment space?
Wow. Oh, that's quite, well, look, one of the things I believe is that you got to be resilient. I think that word has come up so often in our conversation now, but resilience is something that you need. And I think we as South Africans, we are, and especially as KZN, we've come through a lot in this province. And it's affected the industry, but you know what? We've stood strong. And I think as South Africans as a whole, we need to be proud of how far we've come. There's issues, but resilience is key. Another thing is augmentation. We need to augment. We need to make those changes, or else we will die, and we will. Business will suffer. Also, keep abreast with what's happening. That's so important. Keeping abreast with what's trending, what's happening around the world, what we can do to create and add value and add to the chain. So that's and to young entrepreneurs, just remember there's always going to be disappointment. Me in industry, there were many years of tough, hard knocks. It wasn't an easy ride. It wasn't smooth sailing. Lots of disappointment, lots of heartbreak. You feel cheated. You feel sometimes marginalized. But remember, you know what? You keep strong. You dig deep, and don't give up.
Perfect. Thank you, Sagren, for joining us here today. It was lovely chatting with you. If there's one last message you can leave South Africans and all of our listeners, what would it be?
I think, with all the negativity that's around, I still believe that we're a rainbow nation. I still think that we're strong, we're resilient. If we look around ourselves, we always talk doom and gloom, but I say stay positive, think positive, be positive. Look for opportunity, look for purpose within yourself. And I think with all of that, we can rise up and change the circumstances of our country, change the dynamics, make this continent be a continent of life, light. We've always been seen as a dark continent, but I think as people on the continent, we are here to make a difference. And I think South Africans, it's about time we stand up and make a mark in any industry, not just this particular one, but in all.
That is powerful. Thank you, Sagren. That was an inspiring conversation with Sagren Naidoo, a true advocate for local manufacturing and a visionary in South Africa's medical equipment space. His journey with New Horizon Metals reminds us that innovation, resilience, and community impact can go hand in hand. As we continue to spotlight leaders driving change in our sector, Sagren's story is a powerful example of what's possible when we invest in local talent and solutions. Thank you for joining us. And to our listeners, stay tuned for more stories that shape the future of medical device manufacturing in South Africa. Until next time, keep building and keep innovating. Thank you, world, and thank you, South Africa.
Thank you, South Africa and the world, for tuning in to our third episode of Medtech Mzansi. We look forward to seeing you in episode 4, where we feature one of the legends of the South African medtech industry, a founding member of the South African medical technology industry and the Western Cape Medical Device Cluster, Mr. Lindsay Curran of Viva Line. Don't miss out on this exciting conversation, and don't forget to like, share and subscribe to our channel. Until next time.